Don't act like you were being all nice. You were bullying me right before. don't act all. No, you were bullying me.
Oh, my baby, so cute.
What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another amazing and bullyful episode of the True Health Forever podcast, where we share our best life through the lens of holistic health. I'm your host, Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, and as usual, I have the smiling, the curl-rific, the twinkle in her eye, beautiful bully. Introduce yourself.
First of all, he's so dramatic. What's up, everybody? My name is Sinclair, aka Theee. I knew you were. Don't do it. Health nerd.
I wasn't. I thought about it. Several times.
He's so dramatic. I'm not a bully. Anyways, it's a little hot today.
You don't know. You don't know.
I know because before I turned on the air, it was 82 degrees. So if it's 82 degrees inside, it's gotta be 87 outside.
It was cool this morning when I was playing basketball. It was actually cold this morning, real foggy.
How does it say it's 73?
See?
But it's 82 inside. That don't make no sense.
Thermodynamics, which my little brother is taking right now in college. Heat comes in, it gets trapped. So when it's hotter here than it is outside. Especially in the office. Anyway,
the door was open, so it's like it should be more circular. Anyways.
Engineers, please talk to us about thermodynamics. All right. But
the sad thing is I took it.
Today's episode, we are talking about the Great Resignation.
Dun, dun, dun.
So we're talking about, I think, everyone watching, go ahead, blink twice or clap your hands if you know somebody who has changed jobs, quit their job, or retired since COVID has started, right? Since 2019. Go ahead and blink twice, clap, do a little Harlem Shake, whatever you got to do. We'll feel those energies. If someone has, again, quit their job, shifted careers, or has just done a full-on retirement, bless your heart, since 2019. I know we have known some people and have experienced some of those things ourselves. And the question is why? Right? Why is it happening? Should you be making the decision to also possibly do one of those three things as well? And what's the best way to go about it? Or at least in our opinions. Queen.
King.
Telling y'all, there's gonna be a whole episode of Queen King. Are you ready?
Are you ready for some podcast?
All right, we're out. So I don't know if the audience, the community, has been able to enjoy your vocals. I don't know. We haven't done a poll. We can add a poll to this episode.
What do you mean? I sing every time, so obviously they have.
It's been 4 solid episodes since we've kind of ingrained that into the new repertoire.
I'm singing, they're enjoying.
I'm going to add a poll. It's not going to matter because the Queen said during the intro that she enjoys it. So it doesn't matter. I will lose 1,000 listeners to have my co-host and Queen be happy singing her voice. I just want to know what the vote. Let's go ahead and end this episode. This episode was brought to you by but Great Resignation, right? And I want to kind of talk about at first just your personal thought on why do you think people work? And let's try to be as little politically correct. Was that grammatically correct? Probably not. But let's try to be like as straightforward. Like, why do you think people are working? Period.
Like most people, like realistically, why are they working?
Yeah.
For money.
Why did that seem painful? What's for?
I'm just like deciding like if I wanted to say money or just like to maintain
a
a lifestyle.
Okay.
Like I think it's probably to provide for their family, like I think it's a mixture of those three things. I think it's either I just want some money so I can, and that the 1 and 2 kind of go hand in hand. I mean, they all kind of go hand in hand, but 1 and 2 maybe like I just need money to either support my family, or I just need money to support the way that I live right now. I like to get fancy clothes. I like to buy Gucci. I like to eat expensive meals. So I need money to be able to do that. And then, yeah, to support, I think, to support families. Like, I think once you have either whether you support your parents or whether you support your children, whether you support another family member, I think there's a lot of people out there who work to support their family.
I would agree 100%. I feel like if you could not work and somehow still get paid,
I think most people would do that.
I think most people would do it. And I think we're going to talk about it a little bit later. I think most people have done that in COVID. And that's why they're like, I'm not going back to work because, but secondly, I think people do work maybe step number 2 for some type of purpose, for some type of, I don't want to be bored sitting at home all day. So how can I interact with people? How can I be productive and be functional? So for me, those are the 2 things. 1, money to either support my current lifestyle or so I can live this American dream that I've been kind of taught my whole life. I need the house. I need the dog. I need the Gucci.
Fence.
I need the white picket fence. I need to travel, which I do love to travel too. So I fall in this trap. But I feel like that's the kind of goals, that's the dreams that's given to us. So we get jobs, not that we necessarily absolutely love all the time, but that will help us live this dream. Right. That will help us almost survive sometimes. Right.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how you decided to take your first job after college?
Okay, so years back, way back when,
whose auntie is this? Whose auntie?
No, so for me, I'm just trying to put myself back in the mindset of where I was when I accepted the job. One of my biggest fears was graduating and not having a job or knowing what I'm going to do after that. Especially because I did study engineering, which is a very grueling major. And it's very mentally taxing for anybody out there who's thinking about it. I would never deter anybody away from it if that's where your passion lies. But 1, make sure it is a passion, because if it's not, you will find out very quickly. Because I feel like they purposely make it hard so that they weed out the folks who aren't really about it. But long story short, it was a lot of work to get that major. So I'm like, I don't want this to be all for nothing. So
break. Rewind. I don't want this to be all for nothing. Just unpack that one more layer for me, please. What does that mean?
I'm like, okay. This is not to throw shade to anybody who has had to do this, but I saw it and I just didn't want it to be me. Folks who graduated and were forced to take some other job that had nothing to do with their major, that maybe was not fulfilling, and it was just a job to get some money. Because at some point, it's like, okay, you can probably go a couple months, without some money, but at some point, you need a job. So I just did not want to be in that position to where it's like, shoot, I'm 4 months in and I still can't find a job. So I'm just going to have to go, do whatever I can, find a random job that just gets me some money, that I could have done without getting this degree, which again goes back to my point on like, I don't want this to all be for nothing.
Gotcha. So is it the level of money or is it the level of job? You know what I'm saying? So if you would have doing all of this and make it worth it, is it the getting an $80,000, $90,000 job? What if it wasn't engineering? What if it was a job that had nothing to do with your major, but made good money, versus a job that has nothing to do with your major and it's also only paying minimum wage? Like, is the money the factor or is the job the factor?
So I feel like what I ended up doing is taking a job that didn't necessarily have too much to do with my major. They looked for engineers, but I wasn't doing engineering. So that part of it, I think, especially because I had a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth for engineering by the end of it. So it was like, I really don't want to do a profession in engineering. So I don't think it was the job. Okay. I think it's like, it's the bag. Yeah. Like, yeah, let me make sure that the amount of money, stress, sweat, tears, mental exhaustion that I've gone through was worth something at the end of it. Like, let me be compensated for this at least.
Got you. Got you. And I was in a kind of a similar boat. I think I wasn't as blessed and as not blessed. I wasn't as strategic as the queen because I feel like some people were like, "Oh, you're just so lucky. You got a job right out of college." I did see you hustling. I saw you grinding. You were going to your career fairs.
Which career fair? At freshman year, fam.
Yeah, you were doing your thing. I wasn't quite on it like that, y'all. I'll be honest with you. You know, I was struggling throughout college. I was trying to graduate. That was my main priority. But for me,
So the match you did.
yes, I did graduate. Got that diploma. But right after graduation, I had no plan. Luckily, I did get a internship / position working for the SMASH program, which was a really good program. It was a live-in program at UC Davis, and it was around education. It was around student development. That was a really good kind of bridge for me. But after that, it was like a 6-week, 5-week program. Still no job. Homeless may be a strong word because I was with my frat brother. Shout out to the squad. I think it was, I don't know whose house it was at then. It was Markel's house, Ona's house. Maybe Sam was living there. Ryan was probably still living there. And, it was me on that beautiful couch for about maybe four weeks, applying for jobs, interviewing places. And I finally landed a gig that was kind of like you. It was like for the bag, but at the same time, it was a step into education, which was the field I wanted to get in. It wasn't the exact wave that I wanted to do. I wanted a little bit more student development hands-on, but it was admissions work. It was still able to help students. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this job. It's a good transition. It's my first career job, and we're gonna go from there. I feel like a lot of people make that first job decision, and because of experience, because of momentum, you stick in this path, even though that was never really the path that you wanted.
Yeah.
Right. That was never really your passion. So before we go into how the pandemic may have helped break that momentum, which I think it was literally a force that came in and it helped people possibly change directions. Can you talk a little bit about, or we can dive into it now?
I just thought about the physics, like where like an object at motion stays in motion unless it's acted upon by an outside force.
Right.
So like you said, for a lot of people, sorry, we just went through engineering, so that's where my head is at.
We here. Come on, nerd
right?
out,
That
nerd
is
out.
what, like you said, that's what the pandemic was, is like, you're going to stay in motion because that's where the trajectory of your life is going.
Right.
So everything, all of your energy, everything is going to go towards that direction unless something drastic happens that shifts that for you.
Right.
And I think for a lot of folks, it has to be an outside force. For not everybody. For a lot of people, it's just like, nope, this ain't for me. Right. But for a lot of folks, like it's hard to make that decision without something drastic happening to really shift that mindset, turn on that light bulb, whatever it is.
Right. So I do want to, and we can kind of jump to it, because I was going to make maybe just one point on this, is we can kind of talk about it. But once you get experience in a lane, it is difficult to switch lanes. Right. So for me, I did get blessed. Again, I'm not mad about the position that I got into, but I was in admissions. Great job for like 50% of it. Right. I love the talking to the students. I love being able to create events. But there was another side of it, specifically with me working for Black students primarily, or students of color in some cases. There was always that politics game that you got to play. And I'm not a politics person. So it was just like, that's stressful. Some of like the reading of apps or the reports and like all the other stuff wasn't really my passion, wasn't really my superpower. And I felt like I voiced that in every position. I was like, I think I can be doing very creative stuff outside of this job. So how about I do this? And they're like, no, Devon, this is your job description. I was like, oh God, all right. How about I write a new job description? Can we do that? And yeah, that didn't work out too well. But I felt like, in jobs, in adulting, there's certain rules, ways that things are set up. And it can get hard to get a job outside of that because it's like, okay, I'm in admissions. This is my experience. You apply these other things, you don't get them. But then you apply to another admissions job
and
you get it because
Right.
you have a mission experience.
Right.
Same thing kind of with you if you want to talk about it, but it makes it again hard to exit that fast lane or exit that lane that you're in.
And I think for a lot of it, and what I've come to the realization of, and I think what folks who are doing a similar path as me is realize is that once you, like you said, go along a path, you get really good at that.
Right.
Because I mean, if you're a growth mindset type of person where you're always trying to get good at whatever you do, whatever it is, you're gonna give it your all and you're gonna get good at it.
And eventually, you'll become the best at something that you were never really passionate, like if your heart wasn't there.
That's exactly what happened to me.